Hello, Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Black Butler, Chapter 173. When we last left our heroes, Baldroy and Lau continued to work on getting accepted into the Sanatorium in the aftermath of learning that Ronald Knox was the doctor there, which again, a little unclear if Baldroy recognizes Knox. But after Lau almost got kicked out because they don't allow outside doctors, Baldroy feigned a breakdown that may or may not be based on his own war experiences. That's left wonderfully up in the air. And that allowed Lau to stay. We saw some more of the kind of inner workings of Athena Sanatorium, that it's kind of based off the work Florence Nightingale did in the Crimean War. And then we met a young girl named Layla, who seems to be the angel that people are talking about when they talk about the Sanatorium. So yeah, a lot going on there. And so now let's jump right on into chapter 173. Our picture here is of Ada kind of standing strong, and Layla in the sort of like, bent, teasing pose kind of thing. Do angels come in all colors? Chapter 173, The Butler Recuperation. Okay, so we open with Baldroy kind of, slamming his like suitcase on his bed and thinking to himself, we were able to sneak in. Now we gotta confirm whether this facility is collecting blood. In any case, I can't trust that Chinese fella at all. He's a top official of a Chinese crime syndicate. And then he kind of has this image of Lau, who had said in the past, or said like just before this, I will rent a room in the staff dorm. Okay, so this is kind of letting us know where Lau is. I get why he gave refuge to young Master, but why the hell did he bother to come with me? What does Baldroy know about Lau and CL's working arrangements? Because it seems like he shouldn't, like, Lau and CL have had their relationship for a while, so I'm kind of confused why Baldroy seems not to know a lot about, or not to I don't know, I'm trying to find there's just something odd about this scene. It seems like Baldroy should at least have enough experience with Lau that he's, I guess, temporarily trusting, for lack of a better term. I don't know. But why the hell did he bother to come with me? And just then, someone calls out to Lau, "Oh ho, so you're the one to use Ethan's bed next." And as an older man, I'm curious about the word Ethan's bed next. And I'll explain why. So, it seems to me, this is just, drawing huge conclusions over 3 words, that bed, for a long time, belonged to this Ethan guy. But the word next kind of implies to me that maybe multiple people have used it since then. But so, like, this Ethan had it for a long time, and then a bunch of people had it for a very short time. I don't know. Anyway, as an older man, bald with a beard, which war did you fight in? The Great Rebellion in India or Crimea? And a young guy laughs at him. Grandpa Nicholas, the wars in India and Crimea happened 30 years ago. And then Lau kind of laughs. Not Lau, Baldroy laughs. Back then, I was blubbering when my tutor slapped my bottom. I went to North Africa. And then the younger guy responds, you went to Sudan. Maybe we passed each other over there. That was a terrible war. And this is how it ended. And he kind of pulls back his bedsheet, revealing that he's missing a leg. Interestingly about the North Africa thing, is that Baldroy has already made the claim that he fought in Arizona. So, like, is that kind of error going to lead to some kind of unraveling of the deception? We'll see. Anyway, that was a terrible war, and this is how it ended. I'm Connie. Pleased to meet you, bro. And Baldroy shakes his hand. I'm Matthew Berg. And Connie asks him, why'd you come to the sanatorium? I wasn't physically wounded, but I left my brain back in the battlefields. I was flashed back into the war so often. My wife and son gave up on me and took off. And he had this image of Baldroy. I like the detail there, with like the bottle of whiskey or whatever, of some kind of booze, on the ground next to him as the imaginary wife and son walk away. And Nicholas looks at him. You left behind what's most precious to you. Connie responds, but no worries, bro. The miracle healer's here. And I recall last time there was some question if the miracle healer actually would refer to Layla, given that her role was kind of unknown at that point. But we see here explicitly the image of Ada when Connie refers to the miracle healer. But anyway, Nicholas continues. Ethan, he used to lie in that bed, was in terrible condition, but he recovered and was discharged. We heard he's making deliveries at a liquor store. And Baldroy laughs. I wish he'd bring some here, too. So it looks there that I was kind of my extrapolations about Ethan's bed next were completely off base, and it was just Ethan and then now Baldroy. But anyway, Nicholas smiles. I'm sure you'll recover just as well. Yeah, I hope so. And then later that night, Baldroy wakes up. You see Nicholas is still asleep, and Baldroy gets up and he wanders to the end of the hospital room. Everyone's asleep. I look around the facilities now, and he opens the door, and Ada is right level with him. What are you doing? And Baldroy just kind of falls on his ass. What? That's my line. What are you doing so late? And Ada, who is very clearly in the position of power here, making night rounds is basic nursing care. The temperature drops at night. A patient's condition can take a sudden turn for the worst. So what were you doing? Sleep is vital for recuperating your body and mind. And then Baldroy kind of scratches his head and thinks to himself, was this woman keeping an eye on me? I wanted to take a piss. And Ada looks at him. Then you need a light. I'll accompany you. Got no choice but to go back to bed today. And then we opened on the next morning. As Ada wakes them all up with like a bugle or something. Wake up time. All patients gather in the courtyard. Gah! And Baldroy sits right up. And then they're all kind of gathered. She gathered everyone out here. What's she up to? All patients, line up. Now we will begin the healthy, vigorous calisthenics. Okay, that's completely normal, actually. Not sarcastic at all. That's honestly a normal thing to do. We see Lau and Baldroy are kind of confused at this, given they were very clearly expecting something very evil. Raise your arms. 1, 2. Nicholas and Baldroy are both doing the 1, 2. I will say, and that might just be a general calisthenics pose, but it very much reminds me of the Aurora Society, which is kind of suspicious. So we'll see. We'll see if that's a sign that that the two are connected. I don't know. Did Baldroy ever see the pose of the Aurora Society? I don't know. It's one of those. I'll have to go back and rewatch Book of the Atlantic one of these days. Same thing with Baldroy's knowledge of Ronald Knox. Anyway, Ada calls out, I can't hear you, rookie. You'll never get healthy with an attitude like that. Yes, ma'am. Next, healthy, vigorous calisthenics part 2. Raise one leg. 1, 2. And after they're finished, good, we're done for the day. Keep your body warm. Drink some plain hot water slowly before you have breakfast. Rookie, she calls out to Baldroy, and both Baldroy and Lau turn to look at her. I'll show you around the facilities after your meal. Sure, thanks. And Lau chimes in, I will accompany you as well. And then Ada leaves, and Baldroy and Lau whisper to each other, this is a golden opportunity to investigate the existence of a blood collecting facility. Yeah. And after some time passes, we see that the tour is going on. Ada and Knox are both giving Baldroy and Lau a tour. Ada tells him, I hope you do not leave any food on your plate. Now follow us. This is the rehabilitation room. We see what looks like a pretty normal exercise room. I will admit, I don't know if this is supposed to be... I don't know what the standard of care was in the 1880s. To know this is another one of the very, very modern parts of the care facility of the sanatorium. I imagine it is, given how shittily we've seen of how sanatoriums are run, generally speaking, that even having, basic stuff like this is far out of their league, I imagine. Anyway, soldiers who are wounded on the battlefield undergo functional training here. And just then, Baldroy hears a cry. I can't anymore. Please stop. And we see a man who is doing push-ups with Layla sitting on top of him. And Layla says, "You are a swine now. Do not use human language. Now keep walking. Fast." Okay. That's a choice. And Layla then notices Baldroy. "Oh, Mr. Berg, hello. I will also train you if you so wish." Okay. And then Baldroy is very clearly confused, and Nox turns to them. Layla forces patients to train to the limit, making it easy for them to show progress. And back with them, "I did not say you may stop." And she whacks him. "Oink oink, your role-playing is excellent." Her training is a little too harsh. And Lau just looking at himself, I think she's playing a different script. And after Baldroy leaves, very clearly concerned, and Layla just "Do come again." Then we move to the operation theater. The next facility is the operation theater. There are many patients who received inappropriate treatment at field hospitals and never had a chance for further medical attention. We perform a second operation on such patients using the latest technology. And as Baldroy notes in the next panel, this is if there's any room that's, tied up in blood collection, it's here. An operation theater. I wouldn't be surprised if they're draining lots of blood from the patients in this room. And then, because what I've kind of been thinking, that this page kind of clears up for me, is that unlike the last location, unlike the manor, no one's really going missing here. People are returning to society. I imagine if they weren't actually returning to society, it would be kind of like Heathfield Manor, where we sort of knew they were going missing. And so it's not the same situation. If anything were happening, there were people who could, attest to the fact their blood is being collected. But with an operation room like this, maybe not. I hope I'm making sense at all tonight. For some reason, it feels like every word out of my mouth is just kind of jumbled together. So I hope this video is not a complete wreck. Anyway, Baldroy thinks an operation theater. I wouldn't be surprised if they're draining lots of blood from the patients in this room. And after that, Ada calls to them, "The next facility is the last. Let us go outside." And the four of them are now in the woods. The last facility is located in this building, and they climb up a spiral staircase. And they arrive, as Ada tells them, "This is the blood drawing room. To be continued." Well, at least they're open about it. Okay. I was not expecting it to be that simple. Hopefully that's a sign this arc is not going to take too long, unlike the last one. Which I'm still a little bitter at. Anyway, so this chapter, this is the first part of this arc, I'll say, that really dragged, even compared to, like the last arc, the last 2 chapters, or 3 chapters of this arc, were slow compared to, normal manga standards, but, for Butler, they were pretty fast. And this is the first time I'm this is kind of slow. By Butler standards. Or, normal by Butler standards. Heathfield has kind of lowered the average so much. And, it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination, and the fact that it ends with, this is the blood drawing room, kind of shows that I think things are going to be, heating up fairly soon. Hopefully heating up does not mean get us stuck in a months-long flashback about Baldroy's war experiences, though at this point, who really fucking knows? Anyway, I mostly like this chapter. It was far from a standout chapter. I hope Connie and Nicholas are not just one and done characters. I kind of like them. I think they could be fun in the right hands. Um, and we'll see what comes of them. There's not a lot of them, but I think I don't know. They just seem friendly. They're I don't know. I don't know. I don't really have the words for why I like them. I like Connie's design for one thing. I just think he looks neat. Um, Nicholas has the Santa Claus vibe going. Um, and also, I feel like Ada is like one of the more obvious choices for actually working with the Undertaker. Though how exactly Ronald Knox would factor into that is still kind of unclear. But I will say, I hope that she isn't. I hope she's just really, really dedicated to health. Um, I think like she feels kind of like she could be this arc's answer to Jane in Heathfield. But I really hope she just is dedicated to these patients' health. Um, but yeah, there's also, of course, Layla, who's just kind of weird. Um, her role playing puts her kind of, I don't know, old for her age. Which would fit if she's, as I've seen theorized, I think, a Shinigami. Uh, immortal, largely. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. At this point, I'm very much in the state of just tossing things out. Maybe something is going to stick, which I think is kind of contributing to the very scattered feel of this video. Um, but then, yeah, we see. I love the fact that we have this kind of tease. The Operation Theater. You're ready for like an investigation. We're gonna have to see if the Operation Theater is collecting blood, and then it's just like, here's the blood drawing room. Don't worry, we found the spot. And yeah, I hope next time we're going to kind of get to see where they all lie. For lack of a better term, on like the whose side they're on. Is Ronald Knox working for the Undertaker for some reason? Is this somehow different from what the Undertaker is doing? I don't know. I really got no ideas. So yeah, I'm trying to see if there's anything else to bring up. I don't know. Like, Baldroy kind of brings up in the nighttime scene, is Ada watching me, or is she, going back to the Ada point before I'm done. For some reason, I just randomly wanted to say this. Is she watching me, or is she just actually dedicated to her patients? I hope, like I said, she's just dedicated to her patients. Like, right now, everything she's done could be she's evil, or it could be, actually medically sound to the, popping up in the night when Baldroy tries to leave the bedroom, to the Aurora Society pose, just being a calisthenics thing. I don't know. I'm hoping that Ada is good, actually. But yeah, this chapter's fine. It's not great, but it's a sign that we're hopefully getting the ball rolling. But yeah, that's all I have to say for this video. Hope y'all enjoyed the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like, or subscribe, or, do whatever makes you happy, And remember, your life is your own, okay? Bye!